Yeah, so we have a saying that it's the start that stops most people. And the reality of the situation is all of us, it's a natural, again, on the mental performance stuff, it's a natural instinct that's built into all of us that we want comfort, safety, and predictability.
Mhm.
You're always going to be giving that up in some way or another. And so for me, people come all the time and say, man, is it scary? What did you do? And I respect and understand that leap to entrepreneurship is scary. But to me, being an employee is way more scary because now I've decided to put my family's safety in the hands of another person or into a circumstance or into a downsize where I can be replaced because I built up so much value they can't afford me. And so I think actually, if you're looking for safety, predictability, I think it is taking a 6 to 18 month leap to be an entrepreneur because not only now are you creating safety by taking activity, you're also building an asset and you're not a liability. And so I would just encourage people. And so that's on the business part. I'll go in a different direction. There's no greater experience in the world than standing on your own and taking care of yourself. You'll never understand what your true potential is unless you get out of that place and get there. And sure, it's scary, but there is absolutely nothing better for me than when I see people get past that point and make that realization that, hey, I can do this on my own. I've earned this. I've done it. And that sense of ownership and pride is one of the coolest things that you can realize.
I get goosebumps as you were saying that because I absolutely agree. It does take, there is this leap, right? I mean, there's definitely this, what we call it, I guess, uncertainty. You're not going in blind, obviously, you're doing your research, but you want to make sure everything works out. But going back to your original point, working for an employer is people feel it's safe. It technically isn't.
Yeah.
I've been through 3 rounds of layoffs with the last 3 companies prior to leaving corporate life 20 years ago. You never know. And really my promotions, my commissions, I remember we were in sales, was dictated by my manager who had another 20 managers above her. And I felt like I had no control. And then not only that, but I got my money, threw it into a 401k plan that I didn't control as well, aside from the percentage and the investments, but I didn't control the mutual funds and what I was investing in. So really I had my fate in everyone else's hands. Hopefully, crossing my fingers, obviously, that it worked out because I wasn't making any big decisions at the firm. I worked for one of the largest financial service firms to ever exist. So no control whatsoever, hoping that everyone's making good decisions and following through. But to really experience, like, I'm going to control this. Yes, there's risk. Yes, it could be an emotional roller coaster. I've been there. I'm 20 years in full time as a business owner. The experience when someone asked me, is it, and was it worth it? The answer is yes. I've never missed a soccer game or any of the kids or family events due to work. It is, some people, it's all about money. And I think it's because it's not done intentionally, but money can be measured, right? I have $1 million in the bank. I have a $2 million home. But how do you measure happiness? How do you measure, the quality time you have with kids? You can't really, it's hard to actually measure and put a number on it, if that makes sense. That's the way someone explained it to me years ago. So I think the financials is just because that's how you measure things. So, really, you don't control it. If you are doing well, maybe your income's up, but you still have to show up 50 weeks a year to get your two weeks of vacation. So I hate to talk so much about that, but it comes up over and over again now, how business ownership is risky. And I go, you got to change the mind. You got to take a step back and look at it for what it truly is. Anything else
Well,
you want to add?
what I would say there for the listeners, and because you're listening, you're exploring, you're thinking about this. Number one, ask yourself, how long have you been thinking about this? And quick story: my first job when I was playing professional baseball and working on some school, I had met this wonderful man that was a mentor. And every time someone would come into the gym, he wouldn't go around to the treadmills, he wouldn't go to the daycare. He would look them in the eye with care and say, "How long have you been thinking about coming in?" And they would say, "2 years." And he would say, "I am going to put all the pressure I can on you to join today, because if you don't, you won't be back for 3 years." Here's what I would say to those listeners that are listening right now. We always look at what happens if we do it, right? So let me challenge you to look at this and reframe this to look at it a completely different way. Let's assume you don't do anything and it's 10 years from now. What happens if you don't do it? What is the cost? What is the cost of risk? What is the cost of your fulfillment? And what is the cost of regret? Because that's the big thing. It's not the money. It's not the perception. You're not going to care in 15 years. I've never met somebody late in life that I've coached me that said, man, I wish I would have done less.
And Mike just gave a powerful challenge. What happens if you don't do it? We'll close the discussion by emphasizing the non-financial benefits of franchise freedom, like time with family and building a legacy, and the action steps to overcome this final psychological hurdle.